Do it! Do it! Do it, Dan!
We're live! Welcome, everybody, to the Unready room. I'm Dan Gunther. With me, of course, is Brandi Jackola. Brandi,
Hey,
how's it going?
what's up, man? I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. No weird flower infections, I'm hoping.
No moss infections, no mushroom infections. We're good.
Excellent,
A little
excellent.
scratchy though, a little scratchy. Sorry about that.
Uh-oh.
I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm not slowly turning into something else. Shut up.
You're not hiding a bite, are you?
Not this girl.
Excellent. Well, like I said, welcome everybody. We are talking about the new episode of Strange New Worlds that just came out a couple days ago. The Shuttle to Kenfori. I almost said The Last of Us because we were just talking about a bunch of stuff, and my brain is all over the place now. Whew, okay.
Sorry, my fault. My fault. I brought it up.
No, not at all. So yeah, we've got a lot to talk about with this one. I feel like this is going to be an interesting discussion.
Mm,
The various posts that I've done on social media about this recently have gotten more comments on it than usual. So I think there's kind of an appetite to talk about this one, which is interesting. So let's do that.
indeed. Let's do it. That's why we're here.
Absolutely. So first of all, welcome everybody in the comments, all the regulars. Good to see you, everybody. Tristan, I'm so sorry you've had a really bad week. I'm sorry you couldn't join us last week, but I'm really glad you're here. You're with friends. We all love you. I hope things get better for you for sure.
Yeah.
And Ricky, Matthew, Patrick, Nathan, Dave. Good to see everybody here. Really, really appreciate you all. So thank you for joining us, and thank you to everybody who's joining us later as well. We appreciate you as well.
Agreed.
All right, so Shuttle to Kenfori. Let's get that title out of the way, that homage in the title, because that was very nicely done. And Brandi, I see your username is reflective of that.
Indeed. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of zombie movies, especially the George Romero sort of thing. Of course, later on when it got really weird, it was kind of like, "What are you doing?" but but yeah, Dawn of the Dead is one of my favorites actually, and didn't like the remake. Didn't care for that at all. I thought it had lost its edge really. But Dawn of the Dead, wow, that one sticks with you.
Awesome. Well, we talked about this episode on the Positively Trek podcast, and what I found that was really interesting about the discussion is we talked a little bit about the zombies, but that wasn't like the main thrust of our discussion, because this episode is one that I found you can watch it on one level and it just kind of like whatever, but the more you kind of peel back the layers, there's a lot to this episode for sure.
Mhm.
And the best uses of zombies are always as a metaphor. And I think
Agree.
that is the case in this one. Zombies are never the main thing. It's just the background, the metaphor for something bigger. And this episode is absolutely falling into that category for me, for sure.
Agreed. There were I saw a few comments, not that they were people that I normally engage with anyway, but were saying, "Oh, it's a dumb zombie episode." And I thought, "What did you watch? Because you didn't watch this episode properly if that's all you think
Ooh.
about this."
Yeah, absolutely. Very surface level
Mhm.
viewing of this episode is like, oh, it's a zombie episode.
Yeah,
Okay, but
which shows that that person doesn't have much beneath the surface.
yeah, or they're very eager to show disdain for something because
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever.
Well, who cares? I don't know who they are, and they can go to hell for all I care.
Nice. Well, so the setup for this episode, we have Pike and Marie Battelle, of course, who is kind of dealing with this allegory for kind of a long-term terminal illness. And when I first watched this episode, that first bit, I was kind of very skeptical about the whole premise of this episode. They're going to this planet that's disputed, so it's forbidden to go there because there's a flower there that is rumored to maybe be able to help in this situation. Very vague about everything. Of course, later on we find out purposefully vague because they're hiding a lot from Pike.
Mm.
And it's kind of later in the episode where Mbenga is talking about it and says that this is her only chance. Like, she has a day if this doesn't work. And I'm like, okay, I get it now. But based on that, just that exposition at the very start, I was like, there's an awful lot of risks to take. But of course, they know Pike's going to take them, right? So they don't even have to tell him more.
Yeah, it's not often that Pike is on his back foot a lot with what's going on. It's not often that he doesn't have all of the information.
Mhm.
And, it's interesting to kinda see him struggle with that.
Yeah.
And just and also there's kind of like this whole, how do I explain this? I don't wanna say childlike because it wasn't like that, but it was more of this, stamping, wanting to stamp his foot and go, "Why? Why? No. There's another way. There has to be another way."
Yeah.
When he can't accept the facts when it comes to a person he loves. It's really hard for him.
Hmm. Yeah, and like jumping all over the episode as we always do, Battelle has that great line towards the end of the episode, right? Where he's like, "Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you let me?" And she said something like, "I didn't want to have to deal with how my dying is affecting you." And I was
Mhm.
just like, "Oh, dang."
Yeah, she didn't have space for that.
Yeah, like she's worried about herself and the fact that she's dying and the fact that Pike's going to react a certain way. She doesn't want to have to try and deal with all of that as well. And I mean, Pike's our main character, granted, and everything that's, happening to Battelle is going to affect his character. That's just the nature of things. But like, I like the exploration of Battelle as a character in and of herself as well, and how she's dealing with this. And sometimes Pike can go kick rocks. I'm sorry. Like,
Mhm.
this is not about you, as she says.
Yeah, it's not, but he feels like it's about him because he cares for her more than he
Mhm.
expected to, because before they were really just friends with benefits,
Mhm.
and they became something more, and I don't think that I think she probably could have gone either way. And so she's like, "Well, okay, we can be more than friends with benefits." And then it gets serious, and now everything is so muddled,
Mhm.
and she's just gotta focus on the thing that is the most important thing right now, which is staying alive.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna have a lot to say about Pike by the time this episode is over, and it's not
Mhm.
all great,
Agree,
unfortunately.
yep. Mhm.
But we'll get there. And I want to contrast Pike with another character in this episode who I really end up admiring by the end. So there's a little teaser for where some of this discussion's going to go. But
Hmm.
yeah, so they're going to this planet Kenfori. Clever Kenfori, main played the main protagonist in Dawn of the Dead. Very nice. Um, nice little homage there. They're going to this planet and it's in this forbidden zone. It's disputed with the Klingons. There used to be this research station there that was researching this plant that was going to end galactic hunger. And this is where I'm like, okay, I'm seeing the metaphor building here, right? You had this horribly destructive war between the Federation and the Klingons, and what is left in the wake of that war, right? Like, we're
Mm.
years from the end of it, but we're still feeling all of the impacts. And that includes the abandonment of this settlement, the disruption to this scientific research, the creatures that come about because of it are more fallout, and the whole situation with Ambassador Dakra and Mbenga and Dakra's daughter. All of that is just all this knock-on effect of the war and the rending apart of lives that conflict does, right? And I mean, this is what Star Trek does so well. If anything else in this episode, I would have almost like them to drive that point home more a little bit, that this is all because of that war, and just how disruptive it is to the lives of everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And excuse me, sometimes we have to have metaphors to really get the point driven home. And I think metaphors often do it better than
Mm.
just slapping someone in the face with it. So people who don't want I'm sorry, I'm so scratchy. People who don't want to look at everything too closely, but they can watch this episode and start to understand what they don't want to look closely at.
Mhm.
And that's why metaphor is a great storytelling device, because it can sneak in under your radar and suddenly you realize, oh, I get it now.
Yeah. And maybe sometimes will hit you in an unexpected way, and
Hmm.
make you really think about something. So yeah, I really appreciate that for sure. Uh, I guess let's talk about Mbenga,
Hmm.
because I had a lot of feelings last season with the whole Under the Cloak of War thing. The final scene, of course, that is obscured from our vision. We can't see exactly what happens. We only have
Hmm.
Mbenga telling Pike that it was self-defense. He was coming at me and there was a knife and he ended up dead. It was self-defense and an accident kind of thing. It's like, okay, Pike believed him. I don't know that we as an audience completely believed him. I don't know that Pike actually really believed him, but we don't know any better. For all we know, that is exactly what happened. We're kind of still in the same boat with this episode, but I'm leaning more towards what Mbenga told Dakra's daughter is the truth, that he saw the opportunity to end the life of this horrible person and he took it.
Hmm.
I honestly don't know how I feel about that, and I'm being completely honest. Like, maybe it was justified, maybe it wasn't. I'm not a judge. I'm not a jury. I don't know. I would say Pike's reaction to it infuriates me a little bit.
Hmm.
A, that this crime was committed, if indeed that was committed under his watch, and then B, that Mbenga lied to him about it immediately after. And in this episode, we get kind of two reactions to it a little bit, where Pike says, I would have liked to have known sooner. And I'm like, okay, harsh. That's all you're going to say? And then B, when he says, oh, all I saw was somebody saying anything they needed to say to get out of the situation. And I'm like, I feel like you're just justifying that again. Like,
Hmm.
and the fact that he and Mbenga are such close friends, I think is part of it. But if I put myself in Pike's shoes, that would even be, I think, more devastating to me. If this was just an officer that I'd served with for a couple years, whatever, but like a deep personal friend that he's known for a long time, I'd be like, and you hid this from me all this time. I don't know. That's a lot. That's a word salad of thoughts that just are swimming in my head about this.
Yeah. I when we first saw the episode with Dakra, which I cannot remember the title of at the moment,
Under the
because
Cloak of War.
thank you. I knew it was under and something, but my brain has too many things in it, guys, and I can't always find the right thing when I need it. Um, excuse me, I just cannot get over the hacky voice I have today. Um, I thought, "Geesh, I think Benga actually murdered this guy," but and then I have to weigh that against, well, just like looking at real life, there are horrible people in the world. Would you rather see them gone, or would you rather let them be in prison and maybe someday get out and start this whole thing over again? And so I'm
Mhm.
trying to balance these two things. What do you do with a horrible person? with somebody who can cause catastrophic damage to millions of people, what do you do with that person? And if that person, if you get in a fight with that person, yeah, he probably could have just subdued him, but he
Mhm.
saw his chance to remove an evil
Yeah.
from the universe, and he took it.
Mhm.
And was it right in the eyes of law? No. Was it right for what damage is now not possible that he could cause? How do you quantify that? It's
Yeah.
impossible to quantify, but I can see why he would have done that. I can understand the motivation of why he did that. Would I do the same thing in his place? I don't know. I don't know. Am
Mhm.
I the kind of person that could kill someone in order to protect others? It would depend on the situation.
Mhm.
But if I had to do it, I I might. I don't
Yeah.
know.
And that's again part of this whole metaphor of the fallout of the war, like the fact that you know, the classic story, right? A good man goes to war and what comes back, right? And
Mhm.
Mbenga, as he refers to himself, as Ricky mentioned in this comment here, he talks about the monster inside him and whether he needs him today or not, and that's always going to be a part of him because of his experiences and what was done to him and what he did, right? So, whew, it's heavy and it's a lot. I'm pretty disappointed in Pike in
Mm.
how he's dealing with this. If at the very least, not getting to the bottom of it and figuring this all out, he's just sweeping it under the rug because Joseph's a friend. Um, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know what I'd do in his situation. Maybe I'd do exactly the same thing. I don't know. But uh, it's kind of funny because we have this legend in our mind of what Pike is, and he's kind of the paragon of virtue, this virtuous Starfleet officer. And his introduction to us as Star Trek fans is almost the inverse of Kirk because we got a little bit of him at the very start, but then we just hear stuff later, right? Like Deep Space Nine, the Christopher Pike Medal of Valor, and like all of this stuff. He's just heralded as this hero, and now we're getting the backfill of the story and learning about him as an actual person. Kirk was the opposite. We saw him as an actual person, and then later we get the overinflated legend, and we're like, well, we know a little bit better because we actually watched all his adventures. So it's kind of this interesting inverse, and I think we kind of expect Pike to make the right decision in all situations, all the time, always, which is not fair at all to
Mm-mm.
that character or anything. But at the same time, it's jarring when you're like, oh, he's covering up possibly the crimes of friends. And, I'm reminded of Cisco in The Pale Moonlight. I bribed men to cover the crimes of other men. Like all of our heroes have these stains on them. We're just actually seeing Pike as a real person now.
Well, and that's the thing. Just speaking of people coming back from war, um, veterans come back different. They are not the same person. Not one of them is the same person that they were when they left, because now they have
Ortegas.
seen, yeah, they, they've they've seen the most horrible things that humanity can do to each other, and they've done horrible things in order to protect humanity. And
Mm,
you don't you that never leaves. That never leaves. They are altered for the rest of their lives.
yeah,
And I it's just such a waste of life. It's such a waste of life that we can't just exist together regardless of our differences.
yeah,
And you know, I understand why Mbenga did what he did. Do do I like it? Of course not. I'm never rooting for well, actually, I am sometimes rooting for people to die, but not in real life. Well, actually, no, in real life too. There have been a few. Um, okay,
Yeah.
I'm not perfect.
No one is.
I just want justice, and sometimes justice comes by removing that person from existence.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I'm not in any position to judge, but I think someone needs to judge that at some point.
Mhm.
Like yeah. I'm I have to say I'm excited. I'm glad we get a follow-up to Under the Cloak of
Yes.
War, because I kind of thought like that's it. We're never going to hear about this again. But thankfully through this character of Dakra's daughter, who I loved, she was incredible. Um
She is. Yes.
yeah. So apparently, another little callback to Star Trek 6, along with the score of the episode, I noticed. Apparently, Mbenga has a Viridium patch or a Viridium something that
Mhm.
she's been using to track him, which was how Spock tracked Kirk to Rura Penthe. That was lovely. That was nice. But yeah, she's been following him this whole time, basically. And I love that, they cross into this Klingon territory here, and you think it's like a, border patrol gonna come get them, but like totally unrelated. No, it's just this mission to reclaim her honor. And I loved the twist as well, that she wasn't just gunning for him because she had killed her father. It was that her father Dakra's actions had brought dishonor to their house, and she was tasked with killing him to restore the family honor, and Mbenga took that opportunity away, so now she has to kill him to regain her honor. And yeah, it's just like, oh, I like this twist. I like that it was not as straightforward as I thought. And
Mm.
just a cool character. I loved her.
She was fantastic, and honestly, she felt familiar to me, and she's been guest stars in so many things.
Yeah.
So many things. I'm like, "Oh, I saw her in that, and that, and that, and that, and that. She was in that?" Just, she's very good at what she does, because I wouldn't look at her and say, "Oh, yeah, that's the same person that I saw in that, new version of The Equalizer." But
Mhm.
yeah, she's very good. She's
Yeah.
very good.
And I love her concept of Klingon honor. Like, Barry had a really good point in the podcast. He said she's the Klingon that Worf is continually trying to be. Like, where, she's going to save them at the end to regain her honor. And Pike doesn't get it. Pike's like, nobody's going to know. Like, what's that going to do? And he's like, well, she'll know, and we
Mhm,
know. Like, she's getting her honor back by making the sacrifice. That'll get her into Stovacor. Like, she's an honorable Klingon to the end. Not
mhm.
to mention, just total badass. Pulls out
Oh
that
my
whip, pulls out that disruptor. I'm just
god.
like, oh man,
She's
she's so cool.
ambidextrous.
Oh, she's great.
Oh, she's fantastic. I was actually sad that she died, because I'm like, "Oh, I would like to
Here,
see
here.
her again. I would like to see her again." And I'm sure that she is having the best time in Stellarcore. I am absolutely certain of that,
Definitely. Absolutely.
regaling them with tales of her exploits.
Yeah. Yeah, and Ricky, I love that too, that Mbenga gets that concept. Like, he understands it. That's wonderful.
It is.
um, so we'll save the zombie talk till the end, because I have things I want to say about it, and they're all good, I think. But we should pop back over to the Enterprise, because there's stuff going on over there with a character that I personally love, who is, of course, Ortegas, one of my favorite characters on the show. And this is the perfect illustration of why I should not be a Hollywood screenwriter, because like, I love my characters so much, and I don't want anything bad to happen to them. I just want them to have a nice day. I just want them to have a good time.
Mhm.
That is not dramatic. That is not what good stories are. So I just have to remember that what this means is that Melissa Navia is getting some really meaty, great stuff to play on this show.
Yes.
So she's dealing obviously with PTSD from her encounter with the Gorn in episode 1, as encounter is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence, by the way. Good lord.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, and also, of course, the fact that she's a veteran of the Klingon War. Again, the knock-on effects of what war does to people, and her paranoia about the Klingons and all of that sort of stuff, means that at a critical moment she disobeys an order, making it look like it could be just a rookie mistake, but she's not a rookie. Like, these are
Mhm.
not the mistakes she makes. She nudges their speed up just enough that the Klingons detect them, which means that they'll have to use her plan rather than the slow trip to Kenfori to evade detection. It's, warp into the atmosphere, beam them up, and warp away. This kind of, seat of your pants, grip the edge of your seat, ballsy maneuver that hotshot helmsmen are known for, right? Um, that was disappointing. Again, just because I love the character, and you hate to see characters you love going down the wrong path. But like, yay, Melissa Navia, you get some
Yeah.
cool stuff to play.
Yeah, I think Dave's words were like, "I don't like this."
Yeah.
His words during the episode. It's like, "I don't like this. I don't like where this is going." And I get that. We don't want our babies to be hurting. We don't want our babies to be acting irrationally. We want them to be safe and healthy and happy. But that's not what storytelling is. So I love this for her because we're finally getting a spotlight on Erica. Season 3 already. Come on. This should have happened a season and a half ago at least.
There were extenuating circumstances for the actor, so I
Okay,
forgive them for
okay.
that, but
Okay, then I
but
will
it
let
is
that
about
go.
time.
Yeah, it is about time because she obviously can do it. She's a good enough actor to do this. That's the thing about this entire main cast. They are all capable of doing this. They have the tools. They make us believe whatever they need us to believe. They're just fantastic.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. And yeah, as much as I hate to see her going down this path, I'm loving watching this play out because of how it reflects on another character, which is Una, who I think, especially, and hot take here, especially when you juxtapose it with Pike's, in my opinion, very poor command decisions in this episode.
Mhm.
She is a top-notch commanding officer in this episode. She, does not let Ortegas get away with it. I would, again, I'd even juxtapose this with Pike in the first episode, which we talked about with Mitchell, saying that, oh, you're exhausted, call for relief. And she's like, no, I'm not leaving. And Pike's like, all right, good for you. And I'm like, no, no, no. But yeah, juxtapose that with Una in this one, who can't immediately relieve Ortegas because she's forced her hand, right? She's like, we have to do this risky maneuver, and she really is the only one qualified to do it. So you can see on her face, she's like, I want to pull her off the bridge right now, but I can't. I'm going to leave her in that seat until this is over, and then we're going to have words. And yeah, they have words. She's relieved of duty for 2 weeks and has to report for training, basically. um that was a tough scene to watch. And
Mhm.
like, I've over the course of my life, like, I was a teacher for many years. I've been in both of those seats. Like, I've been the one being disciplined, and I've been the one who's had to discipline harshly someone that I care about and want to see succeed. So yeah, my heart was going for both of those characters in that moment. That's one of the hardest things to do, is to reprimand someone you're close to. And oh, that's so hard to do.
Mhm. It
Yeah.
truly is. Here's the thing, Erica needs therapy.
Yes.
She
Me
needs it
too.
so much. She needs it so much. And I think my headcanon with this is that Una knows this, but knows if she orders Erica to do that, it's not going to go well. And I think maybe she's hoping that she doesn't have to get to that point, that her friends, like Uhura and Christine and etc., can kind of ease her into that idea, because there's nothing wrong with therapy. If you break a leg, you go to the doctor. If you break your brain,
Yeah.
you go to a therapist. That's how it works.
Yeah.
It's not something to be ashamed of. It's not saying that you are less than. You have something that you need to fix, and that's what therapy's for.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's kind of like I know we're a century away from a ship's counselor, but, like, why are we a century away from a ship's counselor? That feels to me like it's pretty, self-explanatory why you would need one, you know? Hugh Culber made do on the Discovery because it's like, well, I guess I have to be a psychiatrist or a psychologist as well as a medical doctor. Yeah.
And he was perfect at it. I mean, he was so good.
Yeah,
Th
absolutely.
I feel like, I just had this weird idea pop into my head. If you're gonna have somebody talk to Erica in a way that they are not gonna be offended at anything that she says, put Spock in there with her. Have her talk to Spock about
Yeah,
her experiences. I think that that would actually be great therapy.
that's a that's a great point. Yeah, oddly enough, Spock helping someone come to terms with their emotions is kind of funny in my head, but yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
can see that. Absolutely.
Like, he can remain absolutely logical about it, and that's the best part.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I really appreciated Una in this episode.
She's
Um,
fantastic.
okay, so I'm just going to talk very briefly about this because the reason for it, somebody commented on one of my video on the podcast episode, and now I get it. But the hairstyles this week, we've been seeing a lot of comments about, and Una has a very severe, tight, braid hairstyle that a lot of people have thoughts about. I'm like, whatever, she can do whatever with her hair. But it didn't occur to me why her hair is like that, and it makes perfect sense. The zero gravity scene. You can't have this big there's no real way to simulate that without, you know, extensive CGI or actually being in zero gravity. So I was like, okay, now I get it. It's still kind of weird that it's like, okay, it just, that worked out, I guess. Gravity went out and her hair was like that. But okay, cool.
Yeah,
Um,
I
it's no
think
more
that you're
egregious than
right.
Pike's Peak, though, I will say.
Yeah,
Like
that's true.
by any
That's
stretch.
true. Well, the thing I didn't like about it is that it just didn't look real. It didn't look like her
Yeah.
hair. It was too much.
Mhm.
But you notice, as a change from episode 2, that La'an's got her hair back in a bun now. So
Mhm.
she wasn't letting it fly free. Uhura's was braided down on the top.
Yep.
And yeah, so everybody's
They all
hair
had a
was
0 GC coming up.
yeah, that's why they needed it. And instead of having Mitchell in the chair, they had a new guy
Yep.
who doesn't have hair to flop all around. He has hair, but not that long. Oh,
Oh,
wow. I had no idea that that was the reason. It didn't even occur to me.
it didn't occur to me either, but somebody commented on one of the videos and I was like, "Oh my god, that makes perfect sense." And it's funny because, like, in the old days, they couldn't do zero gravity scenes because of budget, and that might still be the case going forward. It's just the hairstyling department budget that is gonna affect it, which is pretty
Oh,
funny.
my goodness. Just let Rebecca use her own hair, guys. You could have done that. She could braid it up. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, maybe we're seeing like a cultural shift towards what we see of Star Trek in TOS. Like, I mean,
Fair.
Yeoman Rand's beehive has got to come back into style at some
Mm,
point, and yeah, they got to build up to that, I guess. So,
yeah.
yeah.
The thing with Yeoman Rand's hair, it never made sense to me because I'm like, okay, some of that hair is not attached to her head because you cannot do a basket weave with things attached like that. That's not how hair works
Nope.
at all. Just
It's very impressive, though.
yeah, yeah. I couldn't ever. I always just stared at it every time she was on screen. I was just like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's definitely got hair that's not attached to her head in it. How long does that take?
Right? Well, maybe it's just
Probably. Probably.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, we should mention a little bit about Scotty. I'm loving Martin Quinn as Scotty,
I adore him.
and
He's in the main cast. He's in the main credits now.
absolutely, yeah. Great to see. Apparently he's showing up at staff meetings when Pelia does not want to attend, slash they haven't paid Pelia's actress. Oh my god.
Carol
Um,
Kane.
Carol Kane, thank you. My god. They haven't paid her to show up this week, so
Mhm.
we get more Scotty, which I'm cool with. I love Scotty, so
Yeah.
yeah.
I just wanna cuddle him like a teddy bear. I
Oh,
adore Martin Quinn. He's just everything I wanted in a young Scotty, and he's perfection.
yeah. Oh, he's great for sure. Okay, let's talk about the if you're from the US Z word, or if you're from Canada or elsewhere Z word. We've got zombies, and
Mhm,
I've got a fun little story. I told this on the podcast as well, but Barry and I were watching this, and it was the first time either of us had seen it. We were watching the screener, and um these things are attacking, and it's kind of obvious what they are. And I started in on this bit of a rant where I was like, oh, I hate it in pop culture stuff when, there's these things attacking and they don't call them zombies. Walking Dead has walkers, The Last of Us has their words, like all these, like the word zombie doesn't exist in popular culture and then Pike says, like, are these zombies? And I was like,
mhm.
never mind. It was just perfect timing. It was so good. And I loved it,
Love it.
Mega. Don't say that. uh, but
Yeah.
as Tristan mentions, though, the word zombie has appeared in Star Trek before as well. Lily in First Contact, right? So we know they exist in pop culture. Which says those bionic zombies you talked about, the Borg. Borg sounds Swedish.
I honestly think that that was a slight nod to the Muppet Show and the Swedish Chef.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I've headcanoned that, so.
Yeah, I love that. I love that in her mind at that moment, maybe the Swedish Chef was going through her head. And then
Mhm.
the Muppets exist in Star Trek. Cool. I
I
like it.
love it. I love it. I want it. I want to see a Muppets parody of Star Trek.
Yeah. So, zombies in Star Trek. I have to admit, and I mean, we've seen them before. The Borg, obviously, as was pointed out, but also the the Vulcans in the episode Impulse in season 3 of Enterprise,
Mm,
very zombie-like.
scary
Um,
as hell, that episode. Oof.
yeah, absolutely. And then this one, I was kind of like, I don't know how I feel about zombies in Star Trek. It's a little overdone at this point. Blah blah blah. But by the end of the episode, the fact that there's like all this strong zombie imagery mixed with Star Trek imagery, I just loved. So, for example, at the end, when they're on the roof, and like instead of a chain link fence around them, it's a force field, and the zombies keep bouncing off it. I was like, okay, this is an image that I did not know I needed in my life. Like, this is great. I thought that was wonderful. And then the other one I'm going to call out is when the one was attacking Mbenga, and all of a sudden a Klingon duck dog emerges from the front of his
It's
face.
so great.
So good. I was like, oh, oh man, yeah. Just Klingon bladed weapons versus zombies. This is
Mm,
fun. I'm okay with all of this.
yes. Yes, I was too. And honestly, the thing is, and this is something that happens all the time, and I guess you could retcon it to make it fit, but when a person dies, the soft tissues go first, so none of these zombies should have eyes.
No, of
None
course
of them. Especially not really very humanized. There was one guy that was just, like, really had human eyes, and I'm like, "Oh, you could have put some filmy contacts over that at least."
not.
That took me out of it just a little bit,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's, I do love me some zombies, and I think that they did these so well, and they really made us scared. I mean, honestly, when Mbenga accidentally hits that force
Oh,
field
yeah.
handle and it starts flickering, I'm like, "Yep, of course," because that is always what's going to happen. If you have a fence trying to keep them out, they are going to eventually knock it down.
Mhm.
It's just the way zombies are. They are relentless. They will just keep up, keep coming. They don't need to eat. I mean, they do eat, obviously, but are they eating because they want to eat, or are they eating because it's the fastest way to kill somebody? I don't know.
Mhm.
But maybe it is the moss directing them to feed.
The
So, yeah, gross, very gross.
Yeah. Well, like all the best zombie stuff, though, I do appreciate not only the fact that it's a metaphor for other stuff, but
Mm,
also it's not the main thing. Like, it's
mhm,
just a thing that's kind of happening. Like, the main story, of course, is Mbenga and Ambassador Dakra and the fallout from all of that, right? Like, it's all of that is the main driver of what's going on. The zombies are just the background, the environment they have to deal with. And I mean, I stopped watching The Walking Dead a long time ago, but to me, the best episodes of The Walking Dead were the ones, which is most of them, where they're dealing with some sort of human thing, and the zombies are just like, they're always there, but they're not the main thing. I think if you sat down to say, like, oh, we're going to do a Star Trek versus zombies episode, period, that would just be the most boring episode in the world.
mhm.
The fact that there's more going on than just that makes this a top tier episode with some really cool zombie stuff in it that I wasn't expecting to like as much as I do.
Yeah. I tried to watch The Walking Dead. I got through 1.5 episodes, and I just couldn't stomach it because I had the sinking feeling that this was just going to be a reason for humanity to act like,
Mm,
jerks. And
yeah.
that's what it was.
Pretty
Basically,
much.
the whole thing is an examination of how awful people are even when there's so few of them left.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't need to watch that. I'm never going to watch that. I don't need to spend my time on that. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
I watched it up until the season finale at some, I can't remember what season, where my absolute favorite character, the only one I still liked at all, was killed. And I was like, okay, I have no reason to watch this anymore. And then they announced Star Trek Discovery and who was going to be the lead. And
Ooh,
Sonequa
and there
Martin,
she was.
yeah, and Sonequa Martin Green was a character on the show. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to watch the next season to specifically watch her and be like, okay, what's she like? What kind of actor is she and stuff? And then, of course, her character was killed off at the end of the next season because she was off to go do Star Trek. So I was like, cool, I'm done. So it worked out really well. So, yeah.
Well, maybe they were
Inadvertent
killing off
spoilers
the
for Walking Dead, by the way.
yeah. My
Sorry.
my 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 feeling is that she was probably already knew she was going to be killed off, and so
Mhm,
she was auditioning for other stuff. I don't think she necessarily had that Star Trek role yet, but she knew that her time on Walking Dead was ending, and so what are you gonna do? You're gonna go out and audition for stuff, and I love Sonequa so much. I'm so excited that I
mhm.
get to meet her in 2 months, and, I think she, thrived on Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah. Oh, she's incredible.
Mhm.
Yeah, and she's really good in The Walking Dead too. That's my name. Where's Sasha? Her character was Sasha in The Walking Dead. And we kind of joked that, like, if Discovery had done this episode, they would have that throwaway line, right? Where, like, the zombies start coming and Burnham would be like, "Oh, not again." And somebody would be like, what? It's a long story. And then the episode continues. And I'd be like, yes.
Oh, I can headcanon that.
Yeah, exactly. And then some comic or novel could come along and do the backstory of the time Burnham encountered zombies.
I love it. Fantastic. I want that now.
Absolutely. Yeah, right. So that's about all I had to say about this episode. Do you have any final thoughts and a rating for Shuttle to Kenfori? And that of course goes for everyone in the comments and anything that we might have neglected to mention.
Yeah. This could have been just a throwaway zombie episode, and it isn't. It is not that. And for that, I am grateful. They treated everything really, really well. The minute that they landed on the planet, I thought there's gotta be. They're saying there's no life signs. I'm like, I feel like maybe there is something still, well, alive in some way. The moss is. So the moss is actually alive and reanimating those bodies to do its bidding. Is
Mhm.
and is the moss doing that to protect itself? My guess is yes. So I can't for scientific reasons say that that's a fact, but that's my best guess. Uh, I really enjoyed this episode. It's interesting seeing Pike on his back foot. It's interesting seeing Erica uh, becoming someone that she's not because she won't go to therapy. It's, it's actually a really brilliant episode, and it ties in a lot more than you would think at first glance. But I mean, we get that, previously on Star Trek, and I'm like, why are we seeing Rock Dog again or Dal'Rok again? Why are we seeing him again? And then I realized, oh, it must have something to do with Klingons. There's probably and then of course, yes, this was a place that the Klingons were fighting about with humans, etc. So uh it's probably one of the best science fiction and definitely Star Trek zombie episodes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I like what they did with it. I like the way they showed and didn't tell. With it's really hard to do that because the whole point of TV, movies, television, etc., is to explain things to people, but you don't always have to do it with dialogue. And so what they did with it was just really fantastic. So I am going to give this one giant braid of hair on number one's head.
Nice. So one thing we didn't talk about was the scene in sickbay with Captain Battelle and Spock
Oh, right.
mind melding to help her deal with her pain. Great acted scene by everybody in there. Um, and the poor ensign, the poor medical ensign, Ensign Gamble.
I
Um,
love Gamble.
yes, I do too. I love that character. Um, bro took that hit like a champ. Holy mackerel. He oh my goodness, got hit across the room. And Spock did apologize on his way out. But like that was just like he passes him, he's like, I'm sorry, Ensign, or something like that.
Mhm.
How does he not have a few broken ribs? Man, that guy, holy mackerel. Uh yeah, that was yeah, poor Gamble.
He
I like that guy.
yeah, yeah, I do too. I think he's the kind of guy that knows that that wasn't intentional and knows that it was not something that Spock would ever do
No,
knowingly.
for sure.
So I think that he's smart enough to realize that this had nothing to do with him. He was just in the path. So
Yeah. No, I'm just shocked that he
he
stood
didn't
up
die.
and walked
Yeah.
that off. I mean, at least he's in sick bay. But
Yeah.
like,
Just like,
wow.
give me one of those wavy wand things. Get over here. I can't stand
Yeah.
up. But he
Yeah. Oh,
does. He does. Gamble's the
And Dave's
best.
got, yeah, he says, "My apologies, Ensign," as Spock walks out. He doesn't even look at him. He just says it as he walks past him.
Well, I think that Spock is having to deal with some trauma at the moment,
Oh, no,
frankly, and
I'm not.
it's trauma that's not even his.
Yeah, I'm not
So,
criticizing him or anything.
yeah.
I just, it was an amusing scene. That's all.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. I'd forgotten about that too, maybe because I wanted to, because it was just hard. It was a hard scene.
Yeah,
I felt
absolutely.
bad for Battelle, and I felt bad for Spock, and just yeah, anyway.
That dealing with severe pain, right? And that the way she says that, where Spock's like, it may do this, this, and that, and she's like, whatever, just give me something that works, please. Like, oh, that desperation.
Mhm.
They also did a great job with her makeup, just making her look so sick. It's subtle, but it's like, oh, it's so good.
It's very her complexion is a little bit sallow. It's a little bit yellowish. She's
Yeah,
definitely you can look at her and tell she's not well.
yeah,
And that's a credit to the actors as well. So,
definitely, for sure. Well, yeah. So this episode, much deeper episode than I initially thought. Just watching the first few minutes of it. By the end of the episode, I was just like, this. This is my favorite episode of the season so far, and I wasn't expecting it to be, given the initial premise, kind of thing. But there's so much here, and to me, I think the really resonant thing, just to state it again, is that idea of the disruption that war causes even years after the effects. Like, I would say all of and actually this was a point Barry made in the podcast, all of the Klingons and everybody who was killed in this episode are just more victims of that same war.
mhm.
And it's horrible what war does to people and planets, apparently. So probably not a return visit to Kenfori planned anytime soon. But yeah,
Yeah.
I love this episode. I'm going to give it one really incredible blast away at warp, just being missed by a photon torpedo, because that was impressive. I like that. They did the Star Trek 5 thing, but way better.
Agree. Actually, I haven't watched Star Trek 5 in so long. I tried to watch it a few years ago, and I got about 10 minutes and I'm like, "Nope, can't do it. I can't." And just turned it off.
It's one of those movies that has some very high highs in it, but the majority is very low lows.
Yeah. And I'm like, "Can I watch this just for David Warner?" I couldn't. I
Watch
couldn't,
Star
and
Trek 6 for David Warner.
I know, right? It's like, "Wait, he's playing 2 different characters in 2 different Star Trek movies." More
Yeah,
power to you, David. Oh, I was devastated when he passed away.
yeah. Or Chain of Command. Watch Chain of Command, although that's a hard watch for very different reasons.
It is. It is.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. Brandi, I saw Dave posted a comment just a little while ago that your latest episode of Go Boldly just dropped. Or Boldly
Yep.
Go.
Yep. Yep.
Sorry.
It took a while to make it through the filters and whatnot, but it's out there live
There it is.
for your enjoyment or not. And so yeah, Dave is now my permanent co-host. I forced him into it. No, he I asked him to do it and he said yes, because I trust him, and it is really hard to make time to find guests. And I'll still try to get as many guests as I can, but everybody's just so freaking busy that it's really a difficult thing. So, yeah, go listen to that. We're talking about the first 2 episodes of the season. We'll be getting another episode out in a few days about Shuttle to Kempori. And, yeah, so go do that.
Also, check out Shield Podulation.
Yeah, shield modulation. We do shield modulation, and I'm really excited for the episode that we're going to record today, because we are covering season 1, episode 10 of Lower Decks. It's our first Lower Decks episode that's come up, and it's really a corker. I mean, it's like one of the best episodes in the whole freaking series, and I'm just
Hear,
so
hear.
excited to talk about it. So, we'll have that out later today, actually. So,
Awesome. I will
'cause we
be
don't we don't edit.
I'll be refreshing podcast addict.
Yes,
Waiting for it
there
to
you go.
drop.
There you go. So, yeah, 2 podcasts released in 1 day. How do we do it? We don't edit.
But yeah, also check out Positively Trek if you're hard up for Star Trek podcasts. We're
It's so
doing
good, guys. It's
thank
so
you.
good. Get
Um,
Positively Trek.
yeah, we're doing weekly episodes throughout season 3 of Strange New Worlds. So our episode on Shuttle to Kenfori just came out yesterday. Next week on Friday we'll have an episode about a space adventure hour, which is the next episode of Strange New Worlds. And of course we will be here live on Saturday talking about it here in the Unready room as well. So be sure to check that out. And then, of course, supplemental episodes. Although we don't call them supplemental episodes, they're actually just numbered episodes as well. But at the end of every month, Brandi, Jackola, and I are doing an episode about that month's Star Trek comics. So we've already recorded the episode for the 2 comics that came out this month, which were Star Trek Lower Decks number 9 and Star Trek Red Shirts number 1, which was so freaking cool, you guys. If you haven't picked up Red Shirts, it's
Do
going to be a
it.
great series. Oh, it's so good.
It's so good. I was blown away. I had no idea what to really expect, and when I started, I'm like, "Oh, this is how we're doing this. All right. Count me in."
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, if you like, I don't know, if you like some of the imagery in this episode of the more visceral kind, you might
Mhm.
you'll enjoy Red Shirts for sure. But yeah, thank you all so much for joining us. We really appreciate you, and we'll see you again next week. Until then, live long and prosper, live logs and proper, and sarcastic and all that good stuff. Bye, everybody.